the temple of God Khnum, the temple of Esna in Upper Egypt. Esna city or this city is located about 50 kilometers south of Luxor on the west bank of the Nile. It was the capital of the third province of Upper Egypt during the Ptolemaic period. Therefore, the Greek called it Latopolis. Latos means fish and polis means city. So it was a set of worship for the sacred fish. Moreover, Latos was one of the sacred symbols of the goddess Neith, according to her creation myth, as she created the world with her intellectual ability by pronouncing the seven magical words one after the other. And in the final stage, she transformed into Latos fish, which was recorded into two temples, the Temple of Sais and the Temple of Esna. In the Coptic language and the ancient Egyptian texts, this city was called Sinit and Tasenet. Then this name was pronounced by Arabs as Esna. The present Esna temple dates back to the Greek-Roman period. The greater part of this temple is now in ruins, and nothing remains from this temple except for the pronaos. The pronaos, which you called hypostyle wall, it is the only surviving part in this temple. The roof of this pronaos is supported by 24 columns, arranged in 4 rows. Each row consists of 6 columns whose capitals are either papyrus capitals or palm capitals. The height of each column was about 12 meters. The importance of this temple is due to the temple festival calendar, which describes the different festivals of deities, especially for Khnum. The pronaos is also decorated with scenes representing royal figures while making offerings and presenting the pottery wheel for god Khnum. It should be mentioned that the standard of carving of the scenes on this wall is higher than the other scenes. The rest of the scenes on the other walls date back to the Roman period. The pronaos, which is the only surviving part of this temple, measures about 33 feet in the length and 16.5 meters in width. And the main axis of this temple runs from east to west. The construction of this temple took about 4 centuries, started by Ptolemy V and completely finished during the reign of the Roman Emperor Decius, 249-251, most probably in the middle of the 3rd century AD. The inscriptions in this temple were the last imperial hieroglyphs known to have been sculpted in ancient Egypt. The Temple of Esna is a unique example of ancient Egyptian architecture from the Greek-Roman period, located 9 meters below modern ground level. The temple was built of sandstone and dedicated to the worship of the god Khnum and his family. And now we see the facade of the temple. We notice that this temple has a unique architectural style characterized by a curtain walls or half walls connecting the facade columns, also which are called screen walls. Here are some important scenes that depicted on the outer wall of the facade of the temple. Here we see the Emperor Tiberius before Khnum, led by Wadjet by red crown and Nekhbet by white crown. These are the personifications of north and south in Egypt. And there's a small boy or deity putting his finger inside his mouth. He is the son of Khnum. His name Heka, god of magic, standing upon Sematawi, symbol of unification of Upper and Lower Egypt. So this is the scene of Unification, Upper and Lower Egypt, or North and South in Egypt. There is another important scene we can see here on the facade of the temple. On this garden wall, the Emperor Claudius, purified by god Thoth and god Horus. Horus is one of the most important and oldest gods of ancient Egypt. He is usually depicted as a falcon or a man with falcon's head. He represented the sky, the sun, war, protection, and kingship. He was closely associated with the pharaoh of Egypt. Thoth or Jehuti is the god of wisdom, writing, magic, and calendar in ancient Egypt. He was depicted with the head of an ibis or a baboon. He was considered the scribe of gods and the recorder of judgments of the dead in the court of Osiris. His main cult center was in Khnum, modern-day Hermopolis, and he is one of the oldest Egyptian gods whose worship continued for a long time. Therefore, this emperor followed the tradition of the Egyptian kings in terms of his depiction in the purification process with the two principal deities in the ancient Egyptian religion. This is the goddess Menhit. She is a very important goddess and depicting in different scenes inside this temple. The goddess Menhit is one of the ancient deities of Egyptian civilization, considered a war goddess. Here is depicting beside the scene of purification. Also, we see this goddess in different scenes inside the temple of Esna, because this goddess is a very important goddess for the god Khnum. She is a wife and consort of god Khnum, the main deity in temple of Esna, and god of pottery wheel, the creator god according to the religious texts. Goddess Menhit, she is a goddess in the form of land, which associates her with strength and ferocity. Her origins trace back to the Nubian region, and she was considered a foreign goddess of war. The meaning of her name refers to the one who sacrifices or the one who slaughters, and she was also known as the butcher due to her bloody nature in battles. According to her role in Egyptian beliefs, Menhit represented a symbol of war and protection. She was merged with or associated with the tributes of other more famous goddesses, such as Sekhmet, the lioness of war and destruction. Some myths suggest that she was born from the union of the goddess Tower, protector of childbirth, and the god Ammon.